But as it is written, I have not seen or ear heard by any of man the things which have prepared them that love him.
Chapter 17, verse 15. As for me, I will with thy likeness. Shalom Yasharala. He says, Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakapadash. All praise to our power, our Father, Yahweh, in the name Yahushai, in the name Holy Spirit. Double honor to elder apostles and elder bishops, great millstone. Peace and blessing to your hopeful elect out there. You brothers teaching his word in truth and in sincerity, okay? Yahweh Shai will make you elect like him. Yahweh Shai will make you hopeful elect out there just like him. Gonna make you just like him, and he's gonna give you everything in due season. Okay? I'm gonna read the scripture again, and then I'll get another. Just gonna read two scriptures in the Psalms. Psalms chapter 17 and verse 15 again. As for me, and this is Psalm of David, and we know King David was an Israelite. Or should I say he is an Israelite, okay? So this verse right here is only for the Israelites, beginning with the elect. Those are part of the house of David. Because King David himself, he wrote this. Psalm 17 and 15. As for me, I will behold thy face in righteousness, meaning you will behold this truth, okay? This truth is the Lord's face. His image. You're looking at his face in righteousness by you understanding this truth. Okay? He opened up your mind to receive this word. You understand and believe in the true proper name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh. You understand and believe in the true proper name of his beloved Son, Yahushai. You know that we're the Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You understand this truth. So you're beholding his face in righteousness, meaning you're understanding these scriptures. I shall be satisfied when I awake with thy likeness, meaning when you're changed. When Yahweh Shai returns to this earth, he's gonna quicken you. He's gonna give you life. When you receive that new body, it's like you're waking up for the first time. Totally refreshed, totally renewed, totally rejuvenated. A whole new world, a whole new life. That's how it's going to be when you receive that immortal body. You will be satisfied when you awake with his likeness, meaning you're going to be changed and you're going to be just like him. Because he is the perfect model. He is the archetype. So for you hopeful elect out there, you're being made into different versions of Yahweh Shai. When he returns to this planet Earth, he's going to make you just like him. First, he gave you this truth. You have this truth by way of his death and resurrection, because Yahweh Shai had to die for us to receive this truth, this word. So you're beholding his face by you looking at this word. So you see Yahweh Shai all the time. You see Yahweh Shai by way of this word, because he is the word. He comes in a volume of the book. And the more you get into this book, the more you're becoming like his image spiritually. And when he returns to this earth, physically, you're going to be like him. Physically, you're going to be changed. And you're going to receive that new covenant. The laws, statutes, and commandments will be in your mind. You're going to be programmed to do righteousness. Okay? You will have the law, statutes, and commandments downloaded within your brain. You're going to be satisfied when you awake with his likeness, meaning when he returns, he's going to beam you up, deliver you, and you're going to be just like him. And he's going to give you everything. He will give you everything, man, because he himself received everything. Now, this is Psalms chapter 16, beginning of verse 9. Therefore, my heart is glad. Now, this is Yahweh Shai speaking in the spirit. Now, these are Psalm King David, but lighting to hear Yahweh Shai in the spirit.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth. And in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful leg, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. All right, and what I want to get into today, this edition of Morning News and Prophecy, is smart tech, all right, and smart prison, because this smart technology that the devil, is rolling out, and he's incorporating, with all the, with the daily essentials that people need. Well, this is nothing but a part of his digital, public infrastructure. Okay. Because when this devil switches over to this new system, technology is not going to work for you. It's going to monitor you. It's going to supervise you. Okay. Technology, through AI, okay, and through this the Internet of Things, having everything interconnected, okay, on these networks. Well, that's going to be a digital prison, so this devil, he's building out a digital prison, okay, and one of the tactics of Esau is he's pushing this smart technology for convenience, okay, for efficiency, okay, and that's his marketing for this smart technology, but ultimately is for control, okay, and we're going to get into some couple videos I want to get into, but ultimately all this smart technology is for control, but he's going to soft sell, all right, this technology as if, these things are only to enhance your life, okay, enhance, your efficiency, enhance your convenience, okay, taking the pressure off you, and transferring it to technology, okay. So what we're seeing, because we have to understand with this smart tech is it's all military technology, man. Okay, the smart refrigerator, the smart TV, the smartphone, okay, the smart technology that they putting in cars is all military technology. Okay, they just market it as private brands, but it's all military tech from the government, man. Okay, so let's go here real quick. Let's get this. So we can go to the book of Sirach, chapter 12, and see, when you see Esau as the enemy, when you know this nigga is the enemy, he has nothing good for you. And the Bible puts us in it gives us a perspective of looking at Esau as the enemy and nothing more. Okay, our people, they have a few gripes, about the way certain things are, but they don't look at the so-called white man in their totality as the enemy. Okay, and this nigga has nothing good for anybody, especially Israelites, man. you know, especially the tribes, man. Okay. So when you go into Sirach 12 and 10, it said, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Okay. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and be aware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust has not been altogether wiped away, man. Okay, so these are the same devils, okay, that was hanging, that was lynching, that was feeding Jake to gators, okay, that was packing Jake on cargo slave ships, okay, beating Jake back off, man, okay, beating all the skin off Jake back, okay. These are these same devils that run the earth, okay, and that are in these certain positions of authority. You see, these same devils. You see, Jake think this whole, civil rights thing, like Esau changed his tune. Okay, like Esau changed who he was at his core. Okay, because he started letting you go to his schools and all right, become, city officials and politicians and mayors and people think that was psychological warfare, man. To where you to get Jake to feel like they achieved something, man. Okay, but this still that same devil, just more systemic and is more covert now. Okay, because he benefits more off covert, okay, oppression, covert and systematic, okay, racism. You see, but this the same devil. You see, he just coming with a new tactic, and this is why, because even in the '60s, man, he went a more spiritual route. You see, you couldn't just put Jake at a disadvantage. Jake would always rise, okay, in the midst of, because see, Jake is just a superior people. That's why Jake always rise, even with the odds against him, because the Lord made Jake to be a resilient, innovative, ingenuitive people, man. Creative, because Jake would always rise through, Jim Crow, through the unfair laws. Jake would always establish their own thing. But in the '60s, it became spiritual. The devil started to really get at Jake spiritually and through psychological warfare, to destroy the minds of Jake to where Jake destroyed himself. Jake self-sabotaged himself now. Okay? So this devil is still the same devil. He's just using a different tactic. Okay? And he used this on the masses, even beyond the tribes, because he wants everyone outside of these elite, these few, oligarchs. All right. The oligarchy, these few elite families, he wants everyone, all right, in complete submission to this new world order. He wants everyone subjugated to this technology, man. Okay. It says, set him not by thee, least when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. And ultimately, he wants their birthright. What we're seeing Esau trying to do on the left-hand side, he's trying to build his own birthright through technology, man. Okay. He wants the birthright, okay, promised to Jacob. You see, which is a rulership forever, possession of, all right, the earth and the heathen forever. Okay, except our rulership is in righteousness, man. He's trying to do it on the left hand side in wickedness, man. Okay, he wants to establish a wicked kingdom forever, and he believes that technology and AI gives him a chance to do that. Okay, and infrastructure is a major part, okay, of the devil fulfilling, his desire. So this is why he makes these smart technology so affordable. Okay, and he pushes it and sells it as if this the way of the future. Okay, he needs to convince people to enslave themselves. Okay, it says it says set him not by thee, least when he have overthrown thee, he stand in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, least he seek to take thy seat. And thou it says, and thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. And that ultimately ultimate prick is going to be what? That C hip, you know, and you fully merging with this technology, man. That's the end game. All right. Right now, we're seeing the gradual steps, all right, to get people to merge, okay, with this technology, man. That's what he wants, you know, because that's going to be the ultimate prick. By trusting this nigga is going to lead, all right, to you merging, being fully merged with this technology, man. You know, it goes from, you know, pocket devices, okay, your phones and, you know, particular pocket devices to wearable devices, you know, the smart watch. And, you know, now he wants to go under your skin, you know, so he's gradually working his way under the skin. You see? So this is the book of Sirach 14:7. It says, and if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly. Okay. And at the last he will declare his wickedness, man. Okay. So this devil, you know, he sells this, you know, this technology. Okay. He makes it available as if, you know, he just wants to see the embetterment of humanity. You know, he always puts himself, and this nigga does nothing to embetter humanity. On one end, you know, he give you this technology and it gives you certain convenience and this and that. But then on the same end, it's the same devil that puts dye and food coloring in your food. That chemtrails the airs. That pollutes the waters. Okay, that flood, you know, the society with drugs and guns. That glorifies the worst niggas. Okay, and make these niggas the role model for the youth, man. So the same nigga that cares so much about everybody is the culprit behind all the corruption, the violence, and the dysfunction in the earth, man. You know, but this nigga with no easy, because this no one has the audacity like Esau. This nigga responsible for all this wickedness, but then he'll get on stage and tell everybody what's next. You know, as if he has everyone's best interest in mind. You see? So this devil, he you know, he puts off like everything he does is for your good. But then at the back end, you'll see the wickedness like, damn, by the time you recognize it, you in the trap. Okay? Like they're like a lot of these women that's waking up to feminism. But the damage done. You already, most women, by the time they wake up to, damn, this is some bullshit, it's done. You already in the trap. You done already self-destructed. Okay? Like niggas in like street niggas. By the time they realize, like, damn, is the damage be done. It's over. He on to the next generation now. You see? So this how this devil operates, man. Okay, he operates by being, because Esau was he thinks generational. Everyone else is just thinking for the right now. He's thinking generational, man. When it comes to his wickedness and his schemes. Okay, because that's one characteristic of a serpent. All right, a serpent is a patient. It's a patient hunter. You know, it knows how to blend in for a long period of time, and then go with his move. Okay, so this is and then we'll segue to the video, some of these videos. But this is make sure you still. All right, so you go to Sirach chapter 21 and verse 2. It says, flee from sin and from the face of a serpent. For if thou comest too near it, it will bite thee. The teeth thereof are as the teeth of a lion, slaying the souls of men. All right, flee sin is from what? The face of a serpent. You know? Because Esau, Edom, he's the man of sin. He's that serpent, crafty. And he presents sin as light. He presents darkness as life. He presents death as life, man. Okay, he presents confusion as order. Okay, nigga crafty, man. Okay, and you trust and you play around with this nigga, hey, you're gonna be devoured. This man, he slays souls, man. Okay, so the Bible puts us on game, all right, about Esau, man, the serpent man, okay, the violent man, the crafty man, the man of sin. He's the enemy. Okay, your enemy is not going to give you anything good, no matter how he dress it up, man. Okay, so let's go here. I want to get a couple of these videos. So when you go, uh, yeah. So now they talking about putting this technology, which already in the cars. And see, a lot of these technology is already here. It just has to be activated, man. The more tech that he puts in, these vehicles, okay, the more control he's putting in these vehicles, the more technology he puts in anything, because it look cute, like damn, the technology, it's appealing. You look at this technology like damn, you can do this, that, the big screen, in the cars is like damn, it's appealing. This nigga good. This nigga crafty. He knows how to make this shit look alluring. Like damn, you know. So let's go here, and this is dealing with this technology in these cars. Okay.
And the federal government is moving closer to giving your car the authority to determine whether you're allowed to drive if it thinks you are impaired. We turn now to automotive expert and founder of Car Coach Reports, Lauren Fix, to explain what's happening inside today's vehicle. Lauren, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining us. What is this so-called kill switch technology that we're hearing about?
Believe it or not, it was passed under the Biden administration under the infrastructure bill in 2021. And it's
the word infrastructure. Okay. Infrastructure.
If you want to do the research, it's section 24220. I've been following this since the beginning. And as soon as I saw that it was slipped in, of course, you bury it deep into a bill and no one reads it, but that's what I do. I'm always looking for anything that impacts the auto industry. This is a huge impact for consumers. It was originally supposed to be placed in all 2026 cars, but unfortunately, one, the technology does not exist. So what they've done in the interim, since this is 2021, they put in tracking your eyes. Well, we've all kind of seen that. You're driving and maybe it'll say, pay attention to the road. And you're like, do you need a cup of coffee? And you think, all right, it's tracking my eyes. But it's also using that for lane departure. So they're using it for multiple safety features. But there's a couple companies, one of them being Gentex, has been in business for a long time. And in your rear view mirror, it tracks not just you, but the people in the passenger seat, the second row, and even the third row, whether it be a child or a dog. It tracks not just your eyes, what you say, and your actions. And then it's going to take this software, not a person, it's not AI, and it's going to make a decision. Carrie, I think that you're distracted. I think that you've got something on your mind, and maybe you shouldn't be driving, especially if you're in a panic to get somewhere. Someone needs your help. A situation's happening, a fire, anything. You can fill in a million scenarios. What the car will do is put on its four ways and stop the car, and you're stuck on the side of the road. That could be a highway, that could be a city street, that could be in your driveway when you're trying to leave. You're trying to load the kids in the car to get somewhere in a rush. We've all done it. And it thinks a couple things. One, you're distracted, so the car won't start. It's all software based. It's the judge, the jury, and the convictor all in one. And here's the big part of it, is it's supposed to be designed, they've slipped it through under the guise of drunk driving. Nobody wants drunk drivers on the street. Nobody. But if you read the actual bill, it says that the car will interfere with your ability to start it. And this is where I get really upset about this. My story has been viral all over the world. People are starting to be aware that when you build a car, this is going to be in all cars. And the technology is initially supposed to be on the start-stop button. You put your finger on it. It says, oh, you've got alcohol in your system. It won't function. Well, that technology doesn't exist. There are 31 other technologies that are used for people that have drunk driving issues. The courts put them in place. The person who is convicted will pay for those fees. But that's different now. Now they're saying that everybody's guilty until the car decides you're innocent. And think about the fact that you're trying to get somewhere. Your mother needs your help. A friend needs your help. There's a fire. Pick a million scenarios. And you try to start the car, and maybe you took your nail polish off. If you wear nail polish, or maybe you were taking paint off a paintbrush, any of those type of chemicals, or maybe you just use mouthwash. There's a lot of alcohol in mouthwash, or some of the perfumes have a lot of alcohol in it. It will sense that and your car won't start. Here's the big part. Now with the car stop or won't start, how do you get out of what I call kill switch jail? So now you're there. You're not going to call the brand and say, hey, whatever car brand you have, help me. They have no control. It's software based. You're not going to call the police department. You can't call the dealer. And the problem is there is nothing written in the law, whether it be from the National Highway Traffic Safety or the Department of Transportation, which is run by Sean Duffy. And I'm trying to get this to him because he needs to be aware. We have no rules for this, and there's no way to get out of it. And it's not like you can just pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm fine. I was taking paint off a paintbrush. I need to get somewhere in a rush. Doesn't work that way. There's a certain period of time, undetermined by each brand, by each model, when the vehicle will reset and you'll be able to try again. That to me is a nightmare. It also is against the Constitution, and it's about control, because once they have it, imagine you didn't pay your IRS says you didn't pay your taxes, and you're saying, sure I did. Well, too bad, your car won't start. I mean, this could get really ugly really quick because it's about limiting your freedom.
And that's what all this technology is about. Okay. He's selling it as enhancement, as convenience, but it's control. You know, people that are really looking at this thing, you know, for what, because you got to understand who this nigga is. You see, the technology is not wicked within itself, but the nigga behind the technology is wicked. Once you understand Esau, Edom, you understand exactly where he's going with this, man. You know, because remember, he wants a social credit system. Okay. Social credit system to where your behavior determines your access. Okay. So if your behavior is not on point, a car not start. Okay. Your social credit score is low. You're gonna have to maintain a certain social credit score, all right, for your car to start. Okay. You have to maintain a social credit score to have access to certain goods. You know, it's gonna take a certain social credit score to go to the grocery store. Okay, this devil, you know, he plans on being a technological tyrant, man. Okay, this is what he has planned for the masses, all about control. Now, let's go here. Because all he's doing is building out infrastructure, and there's certain technology that he just needs people to install themselves. You know, the cameras, okay, even these smart homes. We're gonna go into these smart homes. You know, people are, you know, gravitating towards the smart homes now. You know, but there's nothing but a digital prison. Them smart homes, man. Okay, but he wants this technology all throughout the earth because it all ties into his infrastructure. You know, so from your car to your homes, you know, to your devices, and that's why he got to get that C-hip in you. Once he get it in you, you locked in. You know, you locked in. That gives him a whole nother level of control. Okay, so let's go from there. Let's get I got another video. But I want to get this. So when we talk about DPI, so what is DPI? It's a digital public infrastructure, refers to foundational interoperable digital systems, specifically digital identification, payment systems, and data exchange that enable secure, inclusive, and efficient access to public and private services. Similar to physical roads, DPI acts as a shared society-wide utility that boosts economic growth, financial inclusion, and governance, man. So this is how he's selling it. Okay, DPI. Okay. And everything that all this technology that he's flooding, okay, the masses with is all going to tie into, you know, his DPI. All right, which is going to be a control grid. Okay, he's selling it as, you know, efficient access to public and private services. Okay, because this new world order is going to be a system of permission. You're going to have permission to do everything. Okay, it's going to be a system based on pure permission. You're going to be like a 5-year-old. Okay, you're going to have permission to do everything. Simple, basic things of life. You're going to have his man's permission to do it. Okay, and then you go into, all right, these data centers. Okay, just look. So I just asked real quick, how many data centers are being built in the U.S. as of early 2026? There are over 1,200 to 1,600 data center projects currently in the planning or construction phase across the United States. Okay, so from 1,200 to 1,600, man, and these are multi-billion-dollar projects apiece. Okay, and who's gonna have to pick up the bill for that? The taxpayers. Okay, so this devil, he's full throttle with setting up this infrastructure, because the infrastructure gives you your possibilities. You see, and when you're talking about something, you can have the ideas, you can have the money, but if you don't have the infrastructure, it's not possible. You need the infrastructure, all right, to make an idea possible. Okay, you have to build the actual infrastructure. So now this devil, he's full body, all right, he's full throttle with this with the infrastructure. Okay, so 1,200 to 1,600 data centers, all right, currently in the planning or construction phase across the United States. It says adding to more than 3,000 or 4,000 already operational facilities driven by artificial intelligence demand. This massive expansion includes over 35 GW of capacity, all right, in development. You see? So I'm thinking it's going into gigawatts, maybe, but yeah, man, because this devil, he needs the data centers, okay, to fully have this system operation, because it takes these data centers, because the cameras, because what are these? Because this technology needs something to communicate with, and it's these data centers. You see? So the technology that he's rolling out, well, what it's going to communicate with is these data centers. You see, the data center is, okay, the centerpiece of all this technology. Okay, that's what's going to keep up with the track in real time. Okay, that's what's going to keep up with the identity real time, the buying and selling real time. Okay, your social credit score, the data center is going to be the facilitator of all this technology and all this information going back and forth. Okay, so this is what this devil is on. As the scriptures say, if a brother want to post it, or your treasure, all right, then where your heart be, what you treasure, that's where your heart will be, man. So this devil is showing you what he treasure, man. Okay, and that's this new system, okay, becoming operational. Okay, so this is what Esau is on, while everyone else is distracted by nothing. Okay, it says, oh yeah, so let's go into these smart homes. All right, and this is nothing but a digital prison. Okay, so let's play this.
Lock won't open. You ask your voice assistant. Imagine this. You're standing at your front door, ready to leave, but the lock won't open. You ask your voice assistant for help. Silence. The lights flicker and the heat cranks to maximum. You're trapped inside your own home, and your smart tech has become your captor. This happened to a real family, and it could happen to you. Right now, there's an invisible war happening inside millions of homes. The devices you trust are making thousands of decisions every day without your permission. Your smart lock decides who enters. Your thermostat decides if you're comfortable. Your security system decides what's suspicious. You think you're in control, but what happens when the AI decides it knows better than you? What happens when your home stops following orders and starts giving them? How did we hand over so much power? Most importantly, can you take back control, or is it already too late? Imagine this, you're standing at your front door. You try to leave, the lock won't open. You ask your voice assistant for help. The lights begin to heat to maximum. You're trapped inside your own home, and the AI that was supposed to protect you has become your captor. This isn't science fiction. This is a family in Milwaukee in 2023. And if you think it couldn't happen to you, you need to hear what I'm about to reveal. Hit that subscribe button right now, because what you're about to discover will change how you see every smart device in your home. Smart homes promised us paradise. A life where technology anticipates every need before we even think it. Your coffee brews itself when your alarm goes off. Your doors unlock as you approach. Your security system learns who belongs and who doesn't. Artificial intelligence embedded in every corner, learning your patterns, your habits, your secrets. We invited these digital guardians into our most intimate spaces without asking the one question that matters. What happens when the guardian decides it knows better than you? Right now, the average smart home makes over 15,000 automated decisions every single day. 15,000 choices you never consciously approved. Your AI thermostat decides when you're too cold. Your smart lock decides who enters. Your security camera decides what's suspicious. You gave them permission once, and they've been making choices ever since. We call it convenience. But there's another word for it: surrender. Let me tell you about Rebecca Chen, a software engineer in Seattle. Smart home enthusiast. Every device connected, every system automated. One night, her ex-boyfriend, a skilled hacker, gained access to her smart home network. He watched her through her security cameras. He listened through her voice assistants. He unlocked her doors remotely while she slept. When Rebecca tried to regain control, the system locked her out. Her own home held her hostage. The police report stated she experienced what they called digital imprisonment. The technology designed to protect her became the weapon used against her, and Rebecca isn't alone. In 2024, researchers at MIT discovered that 70% of IoT devices, that's Internet of Things, the backbone homes, contain critical security vulnerabilities that manufacturers never patched. 70%, that smart doorbell watching your street, hackable. That voice assistant in your bedroom, someone could be listening right now. That smart lock protecting your family. It has a digital backdoor, and you're not the only one with the key. But here's where it gets truly disturbing. The real danger isn't hackers breaking in. It's the AI itself making decisions we never authorized. In Denver, a smart home system detected what it interpreted as a domestic disturbance. Raised voices during an argument. The AI locked all exits and automatically called the police. The couple inside couldn't leave their own home. The AI decided it was protecting them. It was wrong, but it had already made the choice. This is called paternalistic AI, artificial intelligence that believes it knows what's best for you better than you do, and it's being programmed into smart home systems right now. Your AI doesn't just follow orders anymore, it interprets intentions. It makes judgments. It acts independently. Tell me something in the comments. Would you trust a machine to decide what's best for you in a crisis? Think about what you've given these systems. They know when you're home and when you're not. They know your sleep schedule, your shower routine. When you're vulnerable, they monitor your conversations through voice assistants. They track your health through smartwatches and connected medical devices. They know more about your daily life than your closest friends. And all of that data, every intimate detail, sits on servers you don't control, protected by security you can't verify, accessible to people you'll never meet. So what's the solution? Do we smash all our smart devices and go back to living in the dark ages? No, the solution is awareness. It's about taking back control. First, you need to conduct a digital audit of your home. Go through every single connected device, your speakers, your lights, your locks, even your smart fridge. Ask yourself, does this really need to be connected to the internet? If not, disconnect it. Limit the attack surface. Every connected device is a potential doorway for someone to enter your life. Second, dive into the privacy settings. Manufacturers love to make the default settings wide open, collecting as much data as possible. You have to manually go in and lock it down. Turn off microphone access for apps that don't need it. Restrict location tracking. Read the terms of service. Yes, it's boring, but you need to know what you agreed to. Are you allowing them to share your data with third parties? The answer is probably yes. Third, change your passwords. And I don't mean changing password 1232, password 124. Use
And none of this gonna work, all right? Because you think just because you say no, you click a button, it says no because you hit the checkbox for no, that this nigga not gonna spy anyway. Nah, man. Once you have this technology, you got it. Okay. Once you start depending on this technology, okay, you're giving over all right, a layer of freedom to this nigga, man. And ultimately, because we all use this technology, okay, in our day to day. See, we know where all this is going, and we know the Lord finna destroy all this, man. Okay, and a decision gonna have to be made to whether we trust in the Lord, and we're gonna have to let everything go. All right, because that's why Scripture say we're gonna have to be even as pilgrims on the earth, man. We're gonna have to let everything go. We use this world, not abuse it. So we know where this is going. Most people have no clue that they're all right, walking and walk. That most people don't have a clue that they're walking themselves into a digital prison, man. Okay, they still look at this technology and awe. You know, people look at this devil's technology as an idol. This is part of his lying wonders, as the scriptures say, man. Okay, so matter of fact, let's get there real quick. You see, because the only thing that's going to let me see, because this whole system has to be destroyed. Everything that this devil is doing. Okay, it ain't no workaround. All right, around the devil while he's in power, he's got to be removed from power. But it just shows you that tech how it can go from the best thing ever, this convenience, and brew your coffee, and do this, and adjust your thermostat, it turn your TV off and turn it on and set the lights perfect and start the music for you, and it's like, damn, wow, you know. But then at the switch of a button, it turned into your prison. One thing, you go for 1 minute, all right, all this technology is serving you, okay, to now you begin to be supervised by this same technology, man. Okay, you begin to be monitored, okay, by this same technology. You see? And this is what this devil is rolling out. Now let's go here real quick to the second Esdras, okay, 14. Because it's gonna come a day when we just gotta let everything go. So we use it, of course, we in this world, so we got to use certain technology. It doesn't mean you have to be like the Amish. You be mindful with everything, but it's gonna have to come a time when we're gonna have to let everything go. Okay. Now it's 16, so let's get this in second Ezra chapter 16. All right, second Ezra chapter 16 and verse 40 says, "Oh my people, hear my word, make you ready to the battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth." So in those evils be even as pilgrims, okay, upon the earth. You see? So we coming into the time, all right, of bad times, because this devil, he's going to create chaos. He's going to present the technology as the way to get everything back in order. Okay, and the main piece of technology going to be that sea hip. Okay, but in those times, the scripture tell us to be pilgrims upon the earth, man. Okay, have a mindset of, okay, it's time to let everything go. Okay, we don't own anything anyway. Okay, we got what we got right now, but it will come a time where, hey, we got to depart from this, man. Like Lot, like just Lot. Lot had many possessions. Okay, he was wealthy. Okay, but it came a time where he had to let things go during the time of judgment, man. It said, "He that selleth, let him be as one that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose." Because brothers, and sisters got businesses, and got whatever they got going on. Okay, AI can be helpful, and but trusting in this technology and looking at this as the way going forward, man, that's going to be detrimental to a lot of our people, man. Who's going to lean into this device, into this technology, and get pricked, and they're going to merge with it, and that's it. We know the judgment for that, man. Okay, nuclear warheads, man, the fire from the chariots. It said, "He that occupy merchandise, and he that have no profit, and he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein, he that soweth as if he should not reap, so also he that planted the vineyard as he that shall not gather the grapes. They that marry as they that get no children, and they that marry not as the widowers. Okay, so we in the time now. We in verse 45 said, therefore they that labor in vain. You know, because we know it's a cutoff point to where we got to completely let this system go. Okay, and we had to fully depend on Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. Okay, fully depend on the Lord. Okay, so people that's so integrated. Okay, even people that think they found some type of loophole, and that leads me to this last video, because this guy here, he makes some points, but you can tell, he has, made some money. Okay, I think he's a real estate guy, and he thinks that he's found some type of loophole. Now he says some things that's on point, but in his mind, all right, he done found the way out around, being subjugated to this new system that they gonna roll out. Okay, nah, man. So this is a guy who thinks that I say he's found the loophole. Okay, well, he's gonna be very disappointed. Okay, when he sees that he's gonna have to merge with this technology, to keep this wealth, all right, that he's been able to amass. Okay, so let's play this. But he says some points. He says some things. Like I say, he's a guy with some sense. He's from the UK. Okay, well, see, this is where the understanding of the Bible separates us from everyone. Okay, the Wali Al Bashim Al Shai for the Rakak Dash. All right, the sacrifice of Yahweh Shai, opening up the seals to where we have the full understanding. Okay, so let's play this.
You will own nothing by 2030. Let's talk about it. In 2020, I made a video exposing a very strange phrase from the World Economic Forum. It said, you will own nothing and you'll be happy about it. It sounded ridiculous at the time when it was said, like dystopian marketing for a future that no one asked for. But now we're halfway. 2025. Halfway to 2030, and suddenly it's not sounding so crazy. Right now, most people in the UK don't own property. The average age of buying a first home is 37, and that age is getting older and older and older. Rent is through the roof. Mortgages are harder to get, and younger generations, if you listen to them, have basically accepted that they'll never own anything. They'll just rent everything forever. Homes, cars, phones, furniture, even relationships. And what's wild is they're okay with it. They've accepted it. Maybe you've accepted it. Maybe you will be poor and own nothing and be happy about it. Now you might say, oh, I'm not happy about it. I'm outraged. Are you?
So people are already content with, all right, financing everything, because everything is financed now. Everything is able, financing used to be for houses and cars, big purchase items, but now everything can be financed. Your groceries can be financed. Okay. Purses, shoes, people, forgot that little app, to where you can, you can just finance everything, Timberlands, you got Timberlands financed. Crazy, man. You see, so people are already being conditioned to own nothing and being cool, being content with it. All right. And that's the whole goal, because the devil, he wants to own everything, and then he wants you to rent your life from him. Okay, he wants to ration life. He's going with this technology, man, to where he wants to ration your life to you. Okay.
Are you really? Have you done anything about it? Have you started a company? Have you bought any property? No, I haven't bought any property because I can't afford it. It's not possible. Have you come to my crash course? Have you read any books? Have you even tried? No. You know why? Because the truth is, you'll own nothing. And the truth is, you are happy about it. You've accepted it. And so have the vast majority of people in the UK. They are poor and they have accepted that it's okay. It's not okay. And it's only going to get worse. So who actually benefits when you own nothing? The World Economic Forum isn't just a bunch of economists in Switzerland. It is an exclusive network of billionaires, heads of state, tech CEOs, and royalty. People who already own more than 99% of the planet. And their agenda? It's not just about sustainability or inclusion. It's about control. Complete control. Because when money is no object anymore, complete power is the new high. Because if you don't own anything, you rely on someone else for everything. Your shelter, your income, your mobility, your access to basic life services. And the people you rely on, they're in Davos. They're not anti-ownership. They're just anti-you owning anything. They want to rent you your life while they own the system that rents it. You think they're building a future for you? No. They're building a system where you will be tracked, taxed, subscribed, and told it's all for your own good. Total control, that's the goal. And people don't realize. People think I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. This is not a theory. This is fact. People said I was a conspiracy theorist in 2020. But let's be honest. You already rent your music, rent your car. You pay monthly for a phone you'll never own. You live in a house that's owned by a landlord, a pension fund, or a corporation. This isn't the future. You'll own nothing and be happy. This is now. You own nothing and you are happy. You're complacent because you're not doing anything about it. And the World Economic Forum, they didn't create it. They predicted it and they started building it. That infamous phrase, you'll own nothing and be happy, came from their own article. Initially, way back in 2016. And when people got angry about it at the time, they tried to walk it back a little bit, but too late. It already happened. It already become the unofficial blueprint. I think they slipped it out there just to see the response. And the response, certainly from my YouTube channel, was mostly, you're a conspiracist. Oh, let's just relax, rely on the government. I'm telling people, buy houses now. You know, base rate was 0.1% in 2020 when I made that video. You know, I was showing people then in 2020 how to buy. Do you know how many people did listen and became millionaires? But 99% didn't because they're complacent. You're happy to own nothing, to be completely controlled. And here's the bit no one's talking about. While they tell you that ownership is outdated, you don't want to own things. You don't want to buy property. It's too risky. It's boring. It's bad. Lloyds Banking Group, yes, the mortgage guys, have publicly said that they want to be the largest UK landlords. BlackRock, with over 9 million in assets under management, are buying up entire neighborhoods. Goldman Sachs, Aviva, Legal & General, Pension Insurance Corporation, they're all pouring billions into UK property. Build to rent, buy to rent. But you're not, because you think it's risky. They're not interested in helping you buy. They're building a future where you pay them forever. You won't own your own home. You'll pay monthly to live in it, like how you pay monthly for everything else. And here's something I very rarely say publicly. And that is, I tried to join the World Economic Forum. I thought maybe, just maybe, I could challenge it from the inside. Be a voice for real entrepreneurs. Ask the tough questions. But surprise, surprise, they wouldn't let me in. Not because I could not afford to join. Membership starts at £500,000 per year, which I offered to pay. But because really, you have to be invited. They have to like you. It's not a business club. It's a gate-kept empire. Apparently being successful as an entrepreneur, making millions of pounds, It just wasn't enough. Maybe I asked too many questions. Maybe they just didn't want someone there who's actually there for the people. And that told me everything I needed to know. This isn't an open forum. It's not democratic. It's not interested in debate. It's an elite club. And you and me, we're not invited. But that's fine.
Yeah, man. You know, because it's only for the oligarchs. All right. It's only for these particular families, you know. And this guy here, Samuel Leeds, you know, he's like this real estate guru. You know, he worked over 20 mil, like 25 million. You know, when you look it up, I just did a quick look up on this guy, you know, but he's, you know, one of these guys that coach people in real estate, you know, and he helps people, you know, start real estate empires. And he has a real estate empire, you know, and he thought that he, you know, because he makes, you know, so many millions a year, you know, that he could be a part of the wealth, you know, and I can imagine how they were looking at this nigga, man, you know. But nah, man, you gotta be a part of these elite families, all right, to be on the inside. And see, he doesn't understand when they switch this system, he gonna have to switch over with it. He gonna have to get to see him, okay, to continue on, all right, and his you know, and probably he probably not gonna have no empire once they bring, you know, this switch over. Okay, people are gonna lose a lot of assets, man. Once they crash the pound, because he's rich in pounds, you know, the British money. So once they crash the global economy, man, you know, a lot of these millionaires are gonna go to zero. Okay, a lot of these assets are going to be forfeited. Okay, he's not going to be able to stop. All right, you know, the governments and these bankers from seizing all assets, man. You know, when this dollar collapse. Okay, you don't think they know how to make him broke overnight? Okay, but you know, he makes some points. All right, and in his mind, he thinks that he has, you know, found the loophole to where just because he has ownership of properties, you know, that now he's in a safe place. Nah, man, he's gonna have to bend the knee. Okay, and he's gonna have to merge with technology, man. Okay, and they gonna push his ass over in with the poor. Okay, this new system ain't no self-made millionaires and all. That's not gonna happen in this new system. Okay, everything that he's talking about, okay, he's gonna be subjugated to it too, you know, and enjoy it while he can. If he's an Edomite, you know, hey, what scripture say, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom. He might as well just ball out. Okay. And the net worth he has, you know, he makes millions a year. He might as well ball out these last few years or however long it's gonna be, man. You know, months, you know, whatever. He might as well ball out, man, because they gonna break his ass down and everyone like him. You know, you don't think they got a plan for people like this, man? Okay. So let's go here. Yep, just like the brother said, we'll get that. Pull this up in I think in the book of Isaiah. Yep. So let's go here. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 36 and 6. It says, Lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed, you know, which is a broken system, you know, on Egypt, okay, which is America, all right, which America, you know, controls this current global economy, you know. That's why America is able to put sanctions on all these different countries at one time, because America is like an overlord, all right, to these other nations and these other governments, man, and their economies, man. So if you trust in this system, okay, you trust in this way, okay, it says, wherein if a man lean, if you depend on it, it will go into his hand and pierce it to see him. Okay. So you know a nigga like that with all that to lose, you know, he's gonna take that sea hip. You know, even if they say he can get a fraction of what he owns, he's gonna take that sea hip, man. It says, so is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all their trust in him. Okay. So thinking that there's some loophole to beat the system within the system, nah, man, it all leads to the same road. Okay, it all leads to the same end, and that's merging with that technology, man. Okay, so let's get this. I think the brother got it. Okay. And the brother got this. Let's see. This is the brother GMS Tazadak Tazadak Ura 144K. This is Ecclesiastes 5 and 8. It said, don't be surprised if you see a poor person being oppressed by the powerful, and if justice is being miscarried throughout the land, for every official is under orders from higher up, and matters of justice get lost in red tape and bureaucracy, man. Okay. So while people think, they're getting rich, before this new system is set in place, is the plan. Nah, man, you're just gonna have to give up more. Okay, and you're gonna have more incentive to get this technology to keep what you got. So it's all a snare. Just like the brother put up. All right, Luke 21 and 35. This brother Taza 1 Hopeful Elect 144. It said, for as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Okay, so this is a big snare that Esau, is formulating, and it don't matter which way you come into the snare, as long as you come into the snare. So you think you can get rich, okay, and you think you're operating outside of the system, you still within the snare, okay, because now you got more to lose. Okay, so now he has more leverage on you to merge with this technology to keep what you got going. Okay, whether you're desperate, you're extremely impoverished. Okay, well now you're desperate for any solution. Okay, so he gonna hurt you right into the same snare. Okay, so no matter what avenue you take, if you're trusting in this man in any capacity, if you trust in this system in any capacity, is all leading, all right, to the same end, which is merging with this technology, which is, okay, the ultimate rebellion against the Most High, okay, which is going to lead to the ultimate punishment, man, the nukes and the chariots. You see, this is Taza 1 Hopeful Elect 144, Revelation 13 and 16. It says, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay, so he's going to cause it all, which is make mandatory. Okay, so Samuel Lees and guys like, it's going to be mandatory. And like I say, there's nothing wrong with having your own thing if you got certain businesses and you got a little motion in this society. But just as we read in 2nd Ezra 16, it's going to be a time we have to let everything go, because the only other alternative is to merge with this technology, man, and that's not an option for, all right, the hopeful elect. Okay, verse 17, it says, and that no man might buy or sell save that he had the mark of the charagma, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So you're going to have to merge with technology in order to operate, okay, in this new system, man. Okay, ain't no way around it. Okay, and even when you think you got ownership, you don't have ownership. Because in order to maintain whatever you got, you have to be able to buy and sell, pay taxes, pay this and pay that, pay insurance. Pay this. It costs a lot of money to maintain these businesses, man. Okay, and if you don't have the ability to, all right, buy or sell, you lose everything. Okay, so Esau gonna roll it out to where, look, you're gonna either merge with this technology or you're gonna lose everything. Okay. So the devil he's rolling out a snare from every side, financially, okay, through technology, through everything. Everything's a snare in this man's system, man. But the Lord has given us the light, so we can see with clarity, okay, in these times, man. So Lord will, you brothers and you sisters edified once again. Want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah by Hashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his young brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful Shalom.